Yeah, we've all seen those guys that spend hours in the gym every day and still look like this. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Maverick here. Hope you're all having an awesome day so far. Today, I'm gonna be counting down the 7 reasons why your muscles aren't growing based on science. Let's kick this off with number 7, which is not being consistent enough. My dad always used to say, consistency makes a good pudding. And I've come to realize he's right. It's always important that you stick with a proper workout routine regardless of how intensive it is. This doesn't mean you have to go to the gym every single day with no breaks. It also doesn't mean you just go to the gym once a week and expect results, but you need to come up with a plan and schedule and know exactly what kind of results you want, and then adjust your overall gym schedule to meet your targets. Setting up a schedule in this case is the only complicated part, but when it comes to sticking with the schedule, that's the most essential part. If you're being inconsistent with your workouts, all of your hard work could potentially go down the drain. If one week you're training like a superhero and did everything right, but the next week you sat around jerking off, both of your weeks would pretty much be wasted. For muscle growth, that is. Number 6 is too much cardio. Don't get me wrong here, cardio is great and almost essential to any workout routine. Cardio can especially come in handy when you're trying to burn some of those extra pounds during a cut. But while you're actually gaining, too much cardio might be counterintuitive. For muscle growth, your top priority should be lifting weights, preferably as heavy as you can with your abilities. Cardio will always take a backseat or be left out completely when your goal is to increase muscle mass. However, to improve your metabolism and your cardiovascular system in general, cardio is essential. And you should try to incorporate small cardio workouts in the middle of your general weightlifting routines. Regardless of whether you do cardio or not, it should never come at the expense of your muscle recovery. If you're not careful, your cardio will start burning muscle instead of fat. So chill out there, Forrest Gump. Number 5 is only training some muscles. This is something I've seen so many times, especially among younger lifters. And that's only training your biceps, your chest, your abs, or whatever part you want to target. In reality, you don't want to target any specific muscle group if you want to see growth. You need to do everything. The human body is a complicated puzzle, but one thing we do know is that all of our muscles are connected to one another, and each muscle supports another muscle in some way. No matter how strong your bicep is, it won't matter if your shoulders are too weak to lift any heavy weights. Another thing I'd like to mention is the overemphasis some guys put on ab workouts, specifically weighted ab workouts. I've even seen guys dedicate an entire day to working out their abs alone, which is crazy. While ab workouts are fine, you don't want to be doing them every day, and you don't want to simply isolate your ab workouts, as it simply doesn't work that way. The best way to get abs is by working out your overall muscles, as your core will always be worked in some way as well. Of course, targeting your abs doesn't hurt, but overall, it's not too important. Number 4 is bad technique. Now, I just mentioned that you can actually work out your core without targeting it, but something like that is not possible if you have bad technique or form. And it also might be the reason why you're not seeing any muscle growth. Oftentimes, I see guys and girls try to stack as much weight onto the bar as possible and then proceed to try to lift those weights with absolutely horrible form and no technique to speak of. Let me tell you, there's nothing that makes me cringe more at the gym than seeing this. Why? Because not only are these people massively increasing the risk of injury by lifting weights they can't, the workouts they're doing are basically useless because of the lack of form and technique is preventing the muscles from actually doing the work. And in many cases, you'll notice that when you're trying to work out your chest, your shoulders will be sore as well. For your own safety and for better muscle growth, I highly recommend you lift exactly what your upper limit is and slowly increase with a much greater emphasis on your form and technique rather than what the weight is. Alright, now we're down to the top 3 reasons your muscles aren't growing. And coming in at number 3 is overtraining yourself. Before I get more into why overtraining is preventing your muscle growth, let me just touch on the fact that you also won't see any results if you don't put your blood, sweat, and tears into each workout. Muscle growth can be quite challenging and it does require a lot of effort at the gym, but while all of this is important, it's even more important to know your limits. If you stay within your reach, you'd be dramatically reducing your chance of getting injured, which is about the worst thing that can happen to you if you're trying to increase your muscle mass. Aside from that, you don't do another bicep workout the day after a bicep workout or anything like that. I know this may not be shocking info to most of you guys, but it's shockingly common for people to not give their muscles any rest. I've even seen people try to target all the muscles they can every day for hours. All you'll be gaining from something like this is a headache and a potential injury. Your abilities will dramatically decrease by doing something like this, and by the end of the week, you'll barely be able to lift a finger. Remember to stay within your limits and don't try to show off. Okay, coming in at number 2 is you're not getting enough sleep. Usually it's an insult when somebody calls you a princess, but maybe not when they're talking about Sleeping Beauty. She must have been making some serious gains. Sometimes the reason for your lack of muscle growth can be outside of the gym rather than inside. Sleep is indeed one of the most important things you do every day. It's the time when your body is healing more rapidly than any other time, and when you're working out and getting sore every day, you need a good amount of sleep to be able to recover every day. Think of sleep as some sort of natural steroid. No amount of pills or shakes will ever be able to provide you with the kind of recovery you get from a good night of sleep. Just as getting more sleep will help you grow muscles, getting less sleep will prevent muscle growth. Getting less sleep means your body starts to produce strange levels of cortisol, which is a stress hormone. Cortisol also prevents your body from properly being able to store glycogen, which is essential in muscle growth. Just remember, for muscle growth, you need an ample amount of rest, whether it's in the gym, as I mentioned in the previous, or outside of the gym. And the number one reason your muscles aren't growing is you're not eating enough. Now, I don't want to sound like your mother or your grandma, but if after doing everything right at the gym and getting enough sleep, you're still not gaining any muscle, it's definitely because you're not eating enough, or you're not eating enough of the right things. You should ideally be getting between 1.2 to 1.7 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. That means if you're 150 pounds, you should ideally be getting 81 grams to 115 grams of protein every day. This is a lot more protein than most people actually consume, but trust me, once you start increasing your protein intake, you will start to notice a huge difference from before. Another thing you should know is that you can't run a caloric deficit while trying to increase muscle mass. You won't believe the number of times I've had someone ask me, can I bulk and cut at the same time? And the short answer is no. Muscle growth requires you to eat more calories than your daily maintenance level, which you can easily calculate based on your age, weight, activity levels, and height. When you do inevitably cut, you'll probably lose some muscle as well, but you'll gain a lot more definition. It really depends on what your goals are. And those were just 7 of the most important reasons why you might not be seeing any muscle growth, and it was all based on what science tells us about muscle growth and our bodies in general. I hope you learned something new by watching this video, and that if you do make any of these mistakes, you'll start to avoid them from now on. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and until next time, peace.